that gets us into Group C here, where we have G2, Gentlemates, XLG, and Nongshim Red Force. This group, what do you think of it here, Big Time?
I mean, I think you never know what to make of any of these teams in this group. They've all been hot. They've all been cold at times for me. This one is about who shows up on the day. G2 coming in at #1 seed from their win over in Americas, but in London they couldn't get it done. Have they recovered since then?
With G2, it's always the same story.
Yes, sir. We are live on YouTube, guys.
They know everyone perfectly. But it's good we keep getting to see this tournament. They can make it in this one and maybe get a win finally.
And of course, the big meme that was taken out of Masters London was the, yeah, we got XLG, and then XLG promptly knocked them out. And of course, fate had them drawn into the same group. It will be G2 versus Nongshim, and then Gentlemates versus XLG in the first matches today. And then we head on over to Group D, our final group here. And that will be our first match where we get the first look at the title defenders. Team Heretics going up against AGAL. There we go. AGAL, the other squad here from China, which kind of has the makeup of BBL. Started hot over in VCT China, then cooled off, then kind of fell off a mountain, but then qualified here. It's very fascinating.
I mean, it's hard to know what to expect from them. You know, we see them qualify for Santiago in such a brilliant fashion, and then Santiago doesn't really go their way. And then, of course,
A lot of people are a little bit shocked that that's actually something that's come to fruition. Frost has always been a coach that's been able to take teams that don't necessarily fit together in a fully straightforward manner and make them better than the sum of their parts and bring them to good placements. And GE was an organization that had never made playoffs in Pacific, that had never made it to an international event. And with Frost at the helm, they do that for the first time. And then immediately afterwards, he's on the way out. I don't think anybody really can explain
Kind of
why.
looks like a situation where the org gave in to the players. We'll see if it plays out in the way they think it will. Athena, can we talk about Group C, though? I've got my boy Baby Bay, a man who hung it up, put on a headset, was ready to just be a broadcaster with one of us for the rest of his life.
Chumps.
He throws down the headset, he jumps back into that driver's seat, and he is taking over games for G2. That was months ago.
Hello, guys. Welcome back.
This was not the prettiest performance.
To the stream.
G2 the favorites in Group C, or who do you have your eyes on?
I'm not sure, but for me, what I'm looking for from G2 is to put up a performance, because this is finally their time to prove that they can actually do something at a globals. They've struggled every single time they've made it. The addition of Baby Bay has made it a little bit easier, though. I feel like they've added on to that fragging power, and he's done a phenomenal job. I always gotta pick G2 as my favorite, only because America's baby. But I don't want to make any promises because they've struggled.
No promises. So are you're on the G2 side of the fence that they are the favorite, or
I don't want to. Yes.
Yes. Vague answers today. Okay.
I'm
going to grill you tomorrow. Grilling you. Bilski, can we talk a little bit about the rest of the competition? I've talked a lot about the American teams. You, of course, watch the Pacific region. We've watched a lot of games from EMEA. Who should the fans be excited to watch? Because we still have 2 more days of groups.
I think the rest of the group
यार कोई आया भी नहीं रात पे मैं तो पूछना पड़ रहा
you're looking at
देखना पड़ रहा है
a
खुद से
vitality game, and then after that you get another Gigabanger game. Those could all be kind of top 4 games in EWC as far as I'm concerned. So that's an extremely exciting group. We're going to see Heretics play very up and down team, a team with a very high ceiling that came into EWC
Yes, sir.
and actually just hit that crazy
clear
form, even despite kind of struggling in some of those early games and getting pushed a little bit. I think even in the XLG game where they were playing with like a coach stand-in, and then they go on to win the whole thing. So I think that's what's great about EWC. Sometimes you get these dark horse teams that just hit a crazy patch of form and they win the whole thing.
I have a hot take.
Hit me.
Okay.
I think MIBR is going to win the whole thing.
Okay.
I think that MIBR is going to win. Listen, they just beat Leviton 3-0 to qualify for EWC.
Pretty good.
Leviton, by the way, the ones who just won Masters in London.
Was this on LAN?
No.
Okay.
But that's fine.
Fact checking, just fact checking.
Okay, but have you seen this roster?
Just fact checking.
Hold on. Have you seen this roster, dude? They've all
I'm the new guy. I'm just gathering as much data as I can before.
Aspas isn't online. We all know it. Like, when has this guy ever been to a live event and put up numbers? Definitely not kill records. Definitely not kill records. I've never seen it.
A lot of these teams are going to be feeling pressure to not just perform here in Valorant, but to perform at EWC for their club. The club championship has millions and millions of dollars up for grabs. That's what everyone is playing for in the overall scheme of EWC. Who are some of the club favorites? Because Heretics were able to get their team into the top 5 due mostly to their Valorant start last year.
Yeah, I mean, you've got a lot of organizations that are representing. I think NRG are in good form right now. You have to keep an eye on whether they're in some of the other games. Vitality are in a good position to
Leo gang
into the playoffs. And I think on the other side of things, you've got a lot of organizations that might not have much more representation in other games. I think Paper X is the perfect example of it. If they come through and win this whole event, they'll at least get themselves into a relevant position in terms of the club championship, but they're probably not going to be getting many points from elsewhere. But as we saw from last year, even if you manage to win one game, that's going to be good enough.
Hello, जो भी देख रहा है like मारो.
Some cash in the club championship.
Yeah, I also think it's we're in Paris, right? We're in France. I'm gonna see KC, Carmine Corp. They have the biggest fan base, in my opinion, especially when it comes to the French players. So I'm really interested to see how many fans show up for that team, for that club specifically, because they're across so many games too, right?
Yeah. So, which region will have the most teams represented in our playoffs? There are 8 spots. America has 2 wins so far.
I want to make it easy. EMEA, because they get 5 spots thanks to Heretics.
Okay.
Thanks, Heretics.
So they get an extra try, right?
Yeah, they're just lucky that they've got extra representatives.
Notice how he backed off of his own region so quick.
Well, honestly, he had 0 faith in RRQ taking a single map based on yesterday's breakdown. Maybe a single round. He said not even a single round to me off camera, Athena.
I gave him
100% said that.
I gave him a map. They didn't even get a map. So at some point, you have to just kind of back it off a little bit. You know?
जो भी देख रहे like मारो और chat में लिखो यार कुछ.
The matchup that we are about to witness because the players are.
मेरा आवाज क्लियर है, कुछ कैमरा क्लियर है. अगर कुछ आपको चेंज करने जैसा लग रहा है तो बोलो यार.
The Gentlemates are playing tomorrow, but over here on the stage, we of course are going to see Global Esports against Mibr to open the day. Can we start with Global Esports? Who is this team? Who are their star players? What am I looking at?
I mean, it's kind of a mixed team of the core that was built around from last year. You've got Crystal in there as well as Udatan. They tried to put a mixed team together that didn't go particularly well last year. Didn't get the greatest of placements. Then they've upgraded the roster, bringing a lot of firepower. They've got Autumn over from China. Australian player, by the way. So he's obviously cracked because all Australians
all the Aussies. If you make it off the island, you're pretty darn good. We got a guy Pred in Call of Duty. He's a monster.
Is this Love Island? That's a story.
If you make it on the island, you're killing it.
No, but yeah, honestly, this is a team that's been well kind of built over time, had great coaching staff, still have great coaching staff. I think Platoon's been worth his weight in gold, quite honestly, but moving into a head coach position, I'm eager to see if the team is going to be as cohesive. I think Patman is kind of the player that really takes over games and can really be the one to be a difference maker. He just goes into hard carry mode, and when he has a good read on the game, they're going to be very difficult to beat.
We're going to keep talking about this first game a little bit more here. We've highlighted some of the stars from the Pacific region. Let's talk about America's stars, because you told me 100 Thieves are not the worst team in America. And if it's not NRG, does that mean it's Mibr, Athena?
In all of Americas, not here specifically. Listen, Mibr. If you don't know this team, I feel like you've probably been living under a rock, because this is a super team. When you're looking at these players, you have Zekin, you have Ospas, you have these players that have consistently made it to global events previously.
Now, are these all Brazilians? Because Mibr is historically a Brazilian org, right?
They're not all Brazilian. There are mixed. They're all from all over America, so it works out.
Yeah, it's interesting.
It works out.
Look, all I'm saying is MRBR built a super team, 0 international events. Global Esports built a team, 1 international event. It's a bit of a disparity there.
It's okay. Listen, let me tell you. Hold on. Let me tell you about Mibr. They've constantly been in 4th and 5th place.
And you said they're going to win the event, Athena.
Listen, they've been insane. They've been on the come up.
भाई कब मैच चालू है या
almost 3 BO5s in a row not to qualify. They were 1 game away in kickoff, and when it came to stage 1, they struggled. They just couldn't find their footing. But from what I saw in the qualifiers for EW,
G versus Mibr, guys. G अपनी इंडियन ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, रोस्टर इंडियन नहीं है पर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन इंडियन है, और Mibr तो क्या ही बोलूं.
Arrow, by the way, is a really big
दोनों
This looks like a
दोनों
shake on his arm.
फेवरेट तो नहीं बोलूंगा पर दोनों को
French
सपोर्ट
piece of
करूंगा ये
weaponry
वाले में,
on his
ये
left
वाले मैच पे।
forearm. I am feeling like an
जो भी जीते,
MIBR
कोई भी
win
जीतेगा
based
चलेगा।
purely on skin tattooing. Expectations for this match before I hand it over to you guys for agent selection.
Honestly, I think you need to take a look at Autumn's tats. He's got some pretty sick tats as well, Puckett. So make sure you scan all of the players before you make up your mind. Expectations for this game, I think I have MIBR as the favorites. They're looking like a very, very strong team. I think they've kind of underwhelmed domestically, but I think there's a lot of teams like that do only okay domestically or maybe don't hit their heights, and they're still good enough to come into an international event and do very well for themselves. And GE, much like all of the Pacific teams at this event, are in a state of flux. They have just had a head coaching change, and I think a lot of people have their eyes on this event and this game in particular for GE to perform, and it's not an easy game right out the gate here.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. I think MIBR is on that. And as well as that, we talked about them not making global events. Each of these individuals has at least played in some form of international
Yo Naruto, क्या हालचाल?
We have Ospas
बढ़िया
who won
बढ़िया
with Loud,
बोलेंगे।
and then we have Zekin who won with Sentinel.
बाकी तो क्या ही बोलते हो यार।
Two Masters and Champions wins on this roster. It still plays a
यो
big
भार्गव
part.
भाई क्या हालचाल, कैसे हो?
On a stage together before. Not really. But I think it's going to be great for them, especially with the changes that they made in terms of gameplay.
I mean, look at his nose. These nostrils are flared open. He is set up for success. When you got the breathe right strip on, you know this gamer is locked in. He's got the Red Bull. He's got the Monster Energy ready to
भाई ये लोग
go.
ये नाक पे क्या लगा क्या है?
Activate this man
मतलब
in game though to his maximum potential. And what about the big dogs over on Global Esports? Who's the threat we have on camera now?
I mean, that's Harvey. That's their IGL. He's a rookie IGL coming into Pacific just this year, and he's been able to bring them to an international event. A little bit up and down in terms of the individual performance. He actually is mechanically pretty sharp, but especially when the game gets hot, I think that's where the IGL brain drain really hits, and his performance does sometimes take a dip. At the same time,
भार्गव भाई आज भी ऑफिस से देख रहे हो क्या?
around him, on the other side of things, Aspas doesn't need anyone to activate him. He just activates himself.
True, that's true.
Just
That's
round
very
3.
valid.
Give him an AR, let him rip.
Literally.
He's literally the kind of person that once he picks up the operator, that's when he becomes really lethal. That being said, he's been really good at taking those fights. The thing about Aspas that I like is that he's not too aggressive of a duelist to the point of where he takes a lot of those over peaks. But what I do really like is the way that Zekin and Aspas have worked together recently. Their synergy has made them so good at becoming more aggressive together, taking those peaks together. Their gameplay has been really well-rounded, and I think for Zekin and Aspas, I'm looking at them to be that dynamic duo when they are playing the double duo.
Guys, we have the option to go to an ad, but I think we can keep chatting a little bit here.
इस बार वो वैसे प्लेयर नहीं है क्या? ऐसे डिस्प्ले में घुस के देखते हैं। हाँ यार, अच्छा। कब तक बारिश के मजे साथ? अरे क्या बात है? चाय वाय लेके बैठो।
Stuffed animals at their workstation.
Oh, at their workstation? Absolutely.
ये
Yes.
मुझे भी
I
करना है।
love it. I'm a big fan. I mean, have you seen a lot of these plushies? Most of them actually have really deep meanings for these players, which is really cute. Some are given by girlfriends or wives. Some they bought when they went to some sort of global event that reminds them of home. And I think it's nice to just always have something that kind of grounds you.
So you don't see it as like a visual ball and chain?
No.
This is more of like
not.
happy, positive thoughts, reassuring comfort.
Yes.
Gifts. Okay.
Yep.
Understood. I don't know. I saw a purple hippo up there on the desk. I was like,
Guys, आज सब्सक्राइबर गोल लग चुका है हमारा। 250 सब गोल है। 216 हो चुके हैं। 24 या 30 नहीं 34 to go।
Hype man on Global Esports. Is there like an emotional leader on that squad?
I think they have several. I think Harvey and Patman are kind of the duo coming out of the Philippines that bring a lot of energy to the team. They both have a big kind of hand in the calling presence, and I think Autumn is kind of the calming presence in the team that has by far the most experience on this team. And whenever an Australian guy gets hyped in your ears, you're going to be pretty pumped up. He's going to G up the boys.
On the other side, Athena, we're taking a look at a few of the players here from MIBR. Who is my in-game leader and who is my duelist to watch that could go for that pop-off moment on camera?
Burna's going to be your in-game leader. Absolutely insane in the server, by the way. Just get ready to watch him. But in terms of duelists, you actually have two. You have Zekin and Aspas that are highly considered two of the best duelists when it comes to Americas. Obviously, nothing on Sato and Neon right now because they're kind of going crazy on Leviathan, but they're so good. You should watch them play, and I think the most important part is you should watch them and how they play together, because together they become this crazy like twin flame moment. They just go crazy.
Get low, big time. Get low, big dog. Our friends from the Alpha stage making their way across as they are trying to get eyes on all of the action. It looks like our players are getting into this map. Vito in just a moment.
Yeah, boy. जो भी आए like मारो guys, like मारो. Chat में आओ, बात करते हैं.
This time around here at EWC 2026.
Okay, sunset ban.
The first ban is in.
फ्रैक्चर भी बैन. अरे क्या बात है. खेलेंगे क्या ये? लोटस? MIBR? अच्छा, okay.
We're going to see Lotus picked by Mibr.
Yeah, I think this Lotus pick makes a lot of
nice.
sense. I mean, for Mibr, they've had so much success. They actually had a 100% win rate. Granted, it was the one.
दोनों में 3-3 sides है plant करने के लिए.
Or 2 months when they've played in Americas, when they've played in those qualifiers, they've also played
Decider recent
in the EWC qualifier against Crew, and they
nice.
won it 13-7. Which, if you know anything about Americas, Crew has been the team to beat on Lotus. They've always had really good protocols.
ये वाले मैच पे भाई कोई भी जीते कुछ फर्क नहीं पड़ता. मैं दोनों को सपोर्ट कर रहा हूँ. दोनों को सपोर्ट कर रहा हूँ.
At the same time, though, if you go back and look at GE's history on Lotus, 3 different games, 3 losses, 3 different comps. They always change comp. They even played a really crazy triple Senti comp, I think, inspired by XLG up against Paper X that didn't really go well for them over in the Ho Chi Minh finals. So I think it's going to be hard for MIBR to have a read picking Lotus against GE, and that's why I'm keeping an eye on the agent select here to see which direction you're going to get from both of these teams. For MIBR, does seem like they're kind of considering their options here, but a deadlock does seem like a bit of a departure from what they were playing last time. At least Verno's locked in the deadlock. On the side of GE, though, they go a lot of different directions in terms of their comps. This time they're going to lead into something a little bit more standard with the double duelist. I mean, I'm confused because we do have the graphic around a certain way,
आसपास change ही करे जा रहा है.
Right, looks more like something that GE might play, maybe not the Harbor though.
Zek and Reina can
some of the Latin American players and teams do love the Harbor from time to time.
Yeah,
you have been accurate with your questioning in the past.
Yeah.
You might be onto something.
Yeah.
Athena, do you agree with this take, or can MIBR roll with the Harbor?
I think MIBR could potentially roll with the Harbor. Also, the Reina is just—it's such a crazy pick. And I think that we've seen it have some sort of success. I think when you're playing on a map like Lotus, it takes away a lot of kind of potential. Like when you're playing a Phoenix, you have the wall, you have the flash around the corners. But the Reina flash is just not that good in my opinion. So I am a little worried about whichever team did pick the Reina. You're
saying a little bit worried. This comp is batshit. Like honestly,
Chat कम कर पाऊंगा sir.
This is crazy. And it has to be GE, because if it's not, MIBR have lost the plot. Like,
मैं आया हाँ. ठीक है. कोई नहीं. कर ले काम कर ले.
Like low key, if it's MIBR, they're like, guys, we're better. Let's just run them down.
Yo, if I am the brand new coach, I'm bringing out a brand new comp, and I'm about to blow the Valorant community's mind. It is time to shine, baby.
If Platoon is promoted to head coach and he goes into the first game playing ISO Reina, you're really going to have a tough time handling the fraudulent allegations at that point, especially
what if it works?
What if it works? If it works, sorry, my lord.
Do you guys remember the G2 run where they literally were playing ISO Harbor on Bree? Sorry, so they've made it work. So I wouldn't be surprised if this is America's, because we've had it before in the past.
Is this concern that ISO is not strong enough? Is it just the combination of these two? What has you concerned for the noobs out there like me?
They're just weak agents at the moment. They don't see a lot of play in the meta. There's some of the less picked duelists. I can name 4 or 5 duelists better than Arena ISO.
You should name 6 or 7 duelists.
6 or 7 duelists.
Yeah.
There you go. Killing it. Pilsky is not afraid to take on a challenge. I love that. I'm going to keep throwing them at you. Athena, you're a bit on the fence here, so I'm really going to make you give me a declaration.
Fence sitter.
Okay.
Who is the first to 8 rounds in this game?
MIBR.
Why?
I think
मेरे को भी MIBR ही लग रहा है पर्सनली. पर देखते हैं जी के भी रोस्टर जी का रोस्टर भी खतरनाक है. Who knows कौन जीते. जो भी जीते मजा तो आएगा. दोनों को सपोर्ट करेंगे हम.
As Masters winners, as Champions winners, I can't see a world where MIBR here doesn't take it to those first 8 maps, because they're just so good. And looking at the smiles of their faces, come on, the vibes are there.
Stuffed animals, breed braid strips.
You and these stuffed animals, man.
My boys are locked.
You're really
we gotta get
profiling
him on.
MIBR so far. I'm not really a fan of it.
Not really profiling, just observing. You know, it's one of my strengths.
Yeah.
I can really scout out talent and win matches already, and this one is nowhere ready, so I think we could be going to an ad soon, and when the match is ready to kick off, we could be diving in deeper. Production, go ahead and clarify that. In the meantime, Pilsky, I'm going to keep asking questions.
Sure. I do love an ad.
If there is a strong, like, I love watching snipers. They're the flashiest thing. If you hit a headshot, it's nearly an insta-kill almost all games. Who is the star sniper on both sides, and are there multiples that could pull it out? Because Ethan, for example, pulled out a big Marshall at times, collecting enormous rounds on the eco.
I mean, Aspas is just a star op player. For GE, they've got a couple of players who can use it, honestly, but probably Autumn is going to be the player you're going to see using it most.
And then when am I going to the Outlaw? When am I going with the Operator? Talk me through, like, how I spend my economy throughout this series.
Outlaw, anti-eco, or if you think the other team is light on cash, like if the rounds have been close, you know, their economy's struggling, you're going to go for an Outlaw. You will see probably both of these teams have used the Outlaw. I've seen Aspas do it, I've seen GE do it, I've seen Autumn pick it up. So that's when you're going to pick that up. Operator, yeah, Zekin, that's true. Operator in any other circumstance, you know, when you want to mix it in for a gun round.
I have a question for you.
Hit me.
Who on G, based on the agents, who's gonna opt, the Reina or the ISO?
I am questioning
or the
neither.
I'm questioning whether that's the comp we're going to see when we get in the server, because we are resetting the lobby as far as I know.
Yeah.
So they may have...
I've got news!
Yeah,
Ignore what we've seen in the past. The Harbor Wave could still be in the game. He could be removed. We're going to find out as only time will tell. We've got a whole bunch of new awesome graphics being loaded in across the board here. If you guys could see what we see, we are in the middle of a massive expo center downtown Paris, France, and they are building all around us. Stages are going up. We've got video walls growing, and our players are still filing in. We've got MBLL still going on, Mobile Legends Bang Bang, excuse me, and of course, this game, Valorant, going on in week 0. Agent Select is ready. Let's dive into it and find out who our players actually want to play on our first map. Athena, remind me, what is map number 1? Where are we playing and what fits well?
Is Lotus, and I think both of these Agent Selects make a little bit of sense. I am a little bit scared for the side of MIBR because that Waylay hasn't really found that much success recently. It's kind of crazy that the Americas teams, we saw NRG picking that up on the Fracture and kind of struggling to find success. But I think when I'm looking at Aspas, I really like him on the Jet, and I'm a little bit worried that that first double duelist pick is going to be scary.
Yeah, I think for MIBR, this is a departure from the comp they were playing just previously in the qualifiers, but only by a little bit. I think the Waylay is the singular focus to that. For GE, as I mentioned before, they've played 3 games of Lotus in the last couple of months. They played 3 different comps, and this is nothing surprising to see them lean into yet another different comp.
यार बहुत बकबक हो रहा है गेम चालू करो
A little bit of a different flavor. Honestly, I think what MIBR are running though, the Waylay is going to be fantastic against the Vice. It's so easy to be able to play
finally
setups and then just refract out. Really helps you work the map here on Lotus.
Yeah, that's very true. I think the way that they play it is really important here, and I hope they have some antis because their neon has been really good. And immediately right off the bat, we're going to see an aggro C play with these duelists. The Raise Nade's coming in and GE just speeding up.
Autumn getting ready for the dash on in. Paint Shell's going to slow down the offense for GE just for a moment, but the double dive on makes an impact. Aspas from the backside of the site, cleaned up by Yudatan. Verno, as well as the rest of MIBR, trying to force their way through waterfall. Clean execution that they're really looking for. Pick through the smoke, goes the way of Harvey. As GE get themselves the player advantage.
Crazy entry, bhai. Crazy entry.
IGL of GE really starting to warm up.
बहुत crazy निकाला.
Side of things, it's Verno for MIBR that has to pick up the pieces.
Yeah, GE starting really explosive, just going, contesting that fight, and making sure they're able to push up. Udotan gonna get the share kill onto Verno. But yes, a pistol going the way of Global Esports. And I think for MIBR here, I mean, taking that peak is one thing, but not having a fallback plan is a little bit scary. That pistol just trying to scout, get some information, I'm assuming, and they weren't expecting the whole pack of GE to be there.
I mean, honestly, you wouldn't have had it any other way if you're MIBR. If you're playing double C Mound with Zekin and Aspas on double duelist and the other team runs into you, you can't really complain, honestly. So GE are going to be quite happy about how that round went.
GE ने अच्छा निकाला.
Going to the anti-eco. Haven't fully committed to this
निकाल दिया भाई.
Autumn and Zavi with a little bit of extra cash in the back pocket. Got the C's nade over on the A side of the map. Aspas getting active, activating that refract, and does at least take a chunk out of Patman. He's the only player really invested in this round for MIBR.
This is the type of round that Puckett would have loved to see. two scope weapons online for both these teams, but grouping up towards this A side here, we have Xavi actually just sitting outside of that C mound, tapping on that door, putting some pressure, using the Prowler to clear that door, and it's actually going to pull 3 of these players on MIBR into this site. They do have a chance to re-clear, but anything that they do right now might be just a little bit too late because GE, they're already all over on the side of C about to execute.
Yeah, I don't mind if MIBR just stacking up where the pressure is, but GE are giving them the runaround right now. Straight up on into the C site. No opposition there from MIBR.
Entry plant भी कर देंगे अब हो रहा है plant भाई 3 बंदे इधर
pushing towards the spawn here. Autumn, kind of scary with this Phantom, gets paranoid and gets treated instantly. Verno gets the pick onto Autumn. Now all these players falling back on GE, trying to play a safe post plan. That's a Phantom, a Spectre in the hands of Zekin actually. And they're holding it on, and they're trying to do this flood retake, but Batman shutting it down. Alspas with a trade back onto it now, just flooding it. Zekin and Mazzino getting picks. Man, they should not have pushed into spawn there. That was not a good idea against Pistols.
Oh, yeah. Pistol just trying to pick up the pieces at the end of things, but that is a very bitter defeat for GE, unfortunately. Echoed by naught but 4 classics and a singular Marshall in the hands of Aspas. That is not how you wanted your anti-eco to be going. And already MIBR a massive boon for them at the start of this Lotus game after conceding the pistol.
Yeah, feels like we're seeing MIBR just moving as a power.
अंदर नहीं थे ना ये लोग, बाहर निकल आए
थे. Rewarded them. We were talking about how the timing might not be there, but it doesn't matter. And now we're looking at the side of GE. 2 pistols, Sheriff and a bandit.
जो भी देखेगा लाइक मारो यार, सब्सक्राइब करो और आज तो सब गोल भी डाल दिया मैंने, करवाओ यार 250.
You're going to see that there is someone there, knowing that the pressure is there. Aspas is pushed all the way up, using his refractor just in the nick of time because he was 1 second away from losing that fallback.
Door open by Udatan. Little bit of an investment in this round for GE as the Prowler confirms that GE are indeed inside of tree. Nade for second, will zone the attackers away for now, and that's a beautiful C's combo to take out Autumn. GE not happy with how that looks or feels, but Crystal is activating in the middle of the map. Aspas is dropped, and this gives some concern over to MIBR. Massino on the backside of that door, though, does at least give them the man advantage, and he's not done. Looking to push a little bit more here.
Getting a lot of information, pushing this A-line, but Tex getting the pick onto Crystal. Now that plan B has fallen apart. GE going to try to contact up here. They're not going to clear Rebel just yet. Mazzino gets spotted, but he gets the pick. 1v4, but now 1v3. Patman with a beautiful Sheriff shot onto Mazzino, and all 3 of these players from MIBR are already on the safe side.
Patman looking locked in. He is a big game player for GE, but this is a triple high-low on stairs side that he's about to walk into. Not even the best of players can be dealing with that. Haunt dealt with by MIBR, confirming that there is someone on stairs side, and that is just not the angle.
3 बंदों ने कर दिया.
Second round for MIBR here, and GE looking to go into their gun round after the upset on the eco.
I love to see the vibes from MIBR, knowing that they're just kind of playing their game, making sure they're taking a lot of these peaks. I mean, Mazzino just re-walking up instantly. You can tell that's just a sign of confidence in this game when they're able to just take those fights, kind of not really feeling the pressure of losing those 1v1s. Obviously, a little bit punished, but it's okay because now Aspas online with the operator, that operator that we were talking about so much so on this first gun round for GE.
Yep. It is the Cypher as well as the Omen towards C Mound, though, and that is exactly where GE are starting to challenge. Cam is still out there towards C to try to confirm whether this is actually going to be a commitment as we head a little bit deeper into this round. Nightfall picked up by Patman. I think they're just going to take that hold and run with it as the progression smoke and the Prowler go in. Still 2 players on the site here. Burno pushed away as he TPs into spawn, and Texas hung around a little bit too far on Waterfall there.
Now post plant for GE. Trying not to overextend because they have numbers, but look at how fast these players have gone over here from the side of MIBR, using that Nightfall on both sides.
I mean, 1 HP is a
pushing or moving forward based off of it, but the spike finally gonna get planted. Seconds in, Patman and Udo getting those picks. Udo with a 3K to shut it down, and Verno now left in a 1v4. The nades coming in, and it's gonna make a 4K okay for Udo.
Yeah, he's got his showstopper online now. That's a big round to win for GE to restore a little bit of confidence. And they are starting to really hammer home the point that this C site is a problem for MIBR. Rolled over it both on the pistol and then in their opening gun round here. Despite who's playing there, Global Esports are not having too many problems cracking that.
Yeah, looks like MIBR, the flood retake just wasn't there. Zekin was all out onto site using both satchels and no one was there to follow up. The util wasn't really there either, but now a little change of pace here for MIBR, using a heavy stack towards the same main to get control.
Yeah, Outlaw out on the line. Bottom looking for the pick, dodging that paranoia. Crystal's got him back to decently, despite the fact that MIBR do secure control of the double. They've lost 2 players.
कैसे नहीं देखा उसने?
Push GE in full control of this round.
Grouping towards this C here. They're not worried about it. They've come here before. Verno playing close with that bandit. Not going to be able to get one, but as I say that, he gets 2.
भाई 2 ले लिया उसने.
Getting a trade onto
ये तीसरा गया.
Kill from a
2v2
all of a sudden
situation.
It's a 2v2 here.
Very winnable for MIBR. Especially given the fact that we have one player down on a Sheriff this round. Prowler going forward for a little bit of information. The Fade on the other side of things looking to slow this one down. Both of MIBR creeping up on Waterfall side. Does spot out Aspas and loses a little bit of the trade, but that doesn't give him pause for thought. He just continues challenging this off angle. Crystal has got the cross. Aspas into a very difficult 1-on-2. The peak on the back of the Prowler there. Spike ticking a little bit faster as pressure is being applied by Crystal, and he's going to peek out, but Aspas able to spray him.
Crazy. Aspas ने खतरनाक मारा. Crazy मार दिया.
I questioned a little bit the Aspas waylay, but his movement there, the way that he uses util was really nice to see. MIBR, they keep going for these aggressive peaks, trying to get that line. Tex also answering on the other side when they lose a number, trying to retake some sort of space towards C. It looked really rough, but for GE, this right here, Verno getting these 2 was so important.
ये 2 shot तो इतने खतरनाक मारे नहीं है वरना ने.
Not making sure that they're trading, the way that they're pathing into sight was a really good one.
Really rough. You left in a 2-on-1 against Aspas and took him all the way down to 14 HP, but that's all he needs to get some of those rounds done. You can see just how much damage this has done to both teams' economy now. This is going to be a reset round for both of them in round number 6. Quick moves here on towards the C side of the map from MIBR, really pushing it all the way down. Prowler clears the middle of the map. Firstly, on the other side of things, GE have taken A control, but are looking to re-clear the middle of the map here.
Slow towards this C side here. MIBR have literally nothing on this site. 2 players rotating over towards spawn. Make that 3. They have an inkling that they're trying to end towards this.
बीच-बीच में ये क्या म्यूजिक बज रहा है?
The execute, that's going to be so much noise, but they're positioned really well here for MIBR to have a really fast flood.
Big ults for both of these teams. GE very tentative on getting the spike down. They don't want to kind of push the issue too much. They know that MIBR are ready for this flood. In goes the showstopper and the conversion pass. The rocket we're still in a 5-on-5. Aspas finally breaking through for the time being. Still tentative, waiting for that rocket to elapse on the side of GE, who are all playing inside of the site. Auto up close, able to convert on at least of ammo. A couple of trades coming
line of fire हो सकता था अभी.
In a 1-on-2, this is what he does best.
यार 1v2 है situation.
Last year, but not good enough this time. Verno will put him down, and it's a successful C retake for MIBR.
That's crazy from MIBR. That whole round, they were constantly moving in the spawn, constantly rotating, trying to find out where the lines were. It was a little bit weird that they were moving towards that A site where Tex had set up all his Cypher trips, but they learned right away. They heard that there was no noise, no pressure. They instantly rotated over. Still a little bit scary. That was a little bit sloppy of a retake, getting picked off when they're running through the smokes like that, making sure they're not in trading positions, lining up a little bit. It was a little bit scary, but again, MIBR winning out with the power of their frags. And now on this round, we're going to have a full thrifty here for GE. Sheriffs almost across the board, but knives on the side of Autumn.
It's a big round for MIBR to be winning. Need to try to capitalize off the back of that. Once again, you're getting this refract walk through fast pass straight into Autumn, but that's a difficult shot to be converted on the blades.
That was scary. That was really scary. Autumn with those knives are not something to be messed with. But GE continuing to take it a little bit slow, just trying to find their pick, find their one. trying to get that number advantage so they could pick where they want to go. Looking like they want to end towards A here, but a little Prowler not going to get any info. Ospas getting the peek, drops Autumn, and all of a sudden, that's a lot of information for them because Mizzino has all of Tree and 3 players now on this A site, ready to keep it, fight for it, make sure they don't get on.
Yeah, Verno on that C info line is fantastic. That's a cracker of an entry from Harvey. Aspas still getting in the mix with the Outlaw, able to dash out of the site now, but it's a lot of pressure here for GE. Oma TP does come in, but unfortunately they haven't checked Tex yet. That's a spike drop. Neural Theft is invested there. And Prattman caught on the cross. Crystal was potentially a little bit of a contingency plan here for GE to pivot on over to, but when he doesn't have the spike, there's not much to be done, and Aspas will end it outright. That's 3 in a row now for MIBR.
This has been a really big step up for Aspas on this Waylay. I feel like his movement has just become so much cleaner than what it used to be on the Waylay. Felt a little bit clunky, felt a little bit like they didn't have a plan. But now, this in particular made me gasp because it was just so scary. But then also when he's on that site, able to just get away from the fight after taking his pick, his timings on this has been really good. And of course, the rotations from MIBR, it's been so good all game so far. Feels like they're almost that step ahead. They're just there every single time when they know that GE is putting down the pressure. And now for GE, they're probably wondering, what do they need to do? So far, they've had that success on getting onto C. They've had success on getting the spike down, but it's that fast flood all of a sudden that they can't cope with.
Yeah, I think a lot of these rounds are just getting quite messy and drawn out, unfortunately. Neither one of these teams really getting the clean execution that they're looking for, and MIBR always coming ahead in those situations. So it's just not a particularly easy pause to take as GE because you're kind of trying to adjust on micro things like, okay, our spacing is off a little bit, maybe our comms are off, maybe we need to make better plans in some of these post plans. But we'll see what the approach is going to be, whether it is going to be those micro adjustments or whether they're going to come in with a clear plan into round 8. Trying to break this dry spell. Got the pistol, got ecoed. We're able to come through with a gun round in round 4, but outside of that, MIBR is really starting to pull ahead now.
Yep, another operator online for Aspas this time. Bought to him by Verno, and they're going to do another C's nade towards this Rebel, trying to punish any A main. The dash comes in. He might get caught by those nades, and Zach gets that pick onto Autumn with those paint shells. Mizzino just pushing up. His aim is so crisp. Udo getting caught off, just trying to jump up towards that half wall, and now all of a sudden, GE's plan is just falling apart. They can't get this A lobby. They have no presence anywhere else on this map. And MIBR, they just have the full line, getting the orb. This is just a chill day for them.
Yeah, this is nightmare fuel for GE. Post timeout, they immediately get caught by the C's nade. Both duelists hit the deck. Now Patman trying to pick up the pieces. Prowler going forward. Aspas on a pretty dirty off angle here. I don't think this is to be expected. But what is a cracker of a shot from Crystal? GE might have a little bit of a chance in here. MIBR well aware of exactly where GE are. The question is, how many more duels are they going to be given?
Mizzino alone on this A site, but Tex to join him. The baby door being held to here by Zakin, and Crystal getting another one. He's the main reason why this team has come back into this round. Walking up here, looking like they're trying to end towards A. Tex with a beautiful flank, and Verno getting that final pick onto Patman.
Yeah, that's Tex's best position. He's just won like 2 rounds for MIBR from that exact same spot. Perfect.
फिर से आ गया दोस्त. Arey, welcome back actually.
Cypher utility is doing a lot of work on the map, and then when he's needed, comes out from the woodwork and gets it done. The round that did not start well. Credit to Crystal since his transition over to this Sentinel role. His mechanics have really been something to marvel.
MIBR guy easy win hai.
Having some weaker performances individually in the past, but that still wasn't quite enough to dig GE out of a bit of a nightmare situation as they go back onto yet another kind of weaker buy.
Aspas setting up with the op towards that C, so it is a little bit weaker, but they're sitting here trying to get any information. The Odin spam coming in through that door towards Tree. Tex is here just spamming. Full setup towards B, which hasn't really been contested yet. Haven't tried breaking any of those Cypher trips on the side of GE, so Tex is just having a field day, having those really good rotations as much as he can, and now information gathered from Mizzino. They're going to know that there's players towards the A site.
There goes Harvey. No more smokes on the attacking side. Those are usually important, as far as I'm aware, Athena. You've lost Udatan as well. Autumn Swinging through the smoke, hand in hand with Patman. It's an immediate paranoia straight from Verno over on the B side, and that is giving GE pause for thought, completely shut down. This has been a landslide of rounds.
MIBR easy जीत रही है. Easy जीतेगी, easy.
This is almost a landslide here for MIBR. They're getting away with so much. They're so good at getting these early fights, or at least forcing GE to take them. They're fighting at this point both sides of the map just because they can. Fighting that A, fighting that C, setting Ospas up with an op anywhere that he wants to go. And just being really annoying. It feels like they're not even forcing it that hard. They're just allowing GE to take the bait on a lot of these fights, and now switching it up, this setup towards B site. We said that they never really challenged it, and somehow MIBR knew, because 2 players here for the first time from GE.
Crystal given a stern warning there.
Why Crystal की health है वो 4 HP.
Back for a second helping here. Out by the prowler there from Mazzino. Patman pushed away. Verno continually just has this C info line self-sufficiently for MIBR. Doesn't even need any help. He just keeps cycling the dark covers. And once again, GE given a rubble control, because MIBR, honestly, at this point, do not care if they have it. Every single time GE actually use it to springboard into A, they get absolutely rolled.
And now, finally, Texas is going to see some action, ending towards that Cypher site for the first time this game. They're going to see that trip, and they're going to know something's up. Hopefully, they're thinking for themselves that this might be the weaker site, but we still need to be careful, because there's 3 players here towards the side of MIBR. The Nightfall comes out, stops that execute from ever happening for GE.
They're
still a little bit scared.
Verno not overcooking that one, but at least GE have pushed him off the info line. Autumn very much hoping that someone will give him some kind of opportunity here, but with the cam up, there's absolutely no reason for MIBR to peek. Tex, they've seen him in stairs so many times. Spamming away, they'll be well aware that he's in there. Inside of tree is Zekken. The trip gets hit, but no one really capitalizing off the back of that. Patman's dead inside of the door. And Zekken not really tested enough inside a tree. Crossfire coming through from Tex with only 10 seconds on the clock. This is falling apart for GE. 10
Already has slowly.
Okay for Zekken. How many rounds have they just walked up A into an absolute nightmare situation?
It's insane. Like, whether Tex is there alone on weak side, he's able to hold. Whether the team is literally not on site, they're able to rotate in time. And every single time, they're just punishing GE using the C's nade combo at the best of times from MIBR. It feels like they've really got a definite good read on how GE is playing, how they're going to be adapting. They're 1 or 2 steps ahead at this point, I feel like. And now we're going to be looking at this round. 2 players from MIBR here towards this C mound, but it's 2 different players. It's Verno and Tex this time, as opposed to Zekken and Ospas. Tex getting 2 picks.
Verno, yeah, Tex bhi gaya.
This game, but the trades are coming in. Javi and Patman both good for 1, and all of a sudden the Nightfall
nice entry.
Execute is gonna
be 3v3 ya do are GG's.
He's flooded in. Udo getting a pick, but it's not enough. Ospas
1v1.
What is going
Abe, nice Ospas. Khatarnak mara.
I mean, again, GE,
crazy.
They do a pretty good job of cracking on into that C side, but the flood is a little bit too fast for them to deal with. Zekken diving in with the rocket, and Aspas just light speeding in with the shorty. Able to end that round before GE can really get the comfortable and put their feet up inside of the C site. 9-2. This is very rough going for GE. This Lotus pick is looking pretty excellent on the side of MIBR. They might even hit double digits before we end this first half of regulation here.
Yeah, definitely scary.
Okay, don't laugh
I'm
like
sorry.
that.
भाई ये लोग टाइम आउट ऐसा भी कुछ नहीं ले रहे.
That's too much. That's too
खेले
much.
जा रहे.
Just, you know,
टाइम आउट
reminding
लेके
you
कुछ
that
डिसाइड कर लो यार.
America is gonna be
9 to स्कोर है भाई. 2-9.
Set up towards A again, knowing that there's something going on here. Zekken using the nades with the wheeling combo.
Autumn
That was
मर गया.
insane, and another punish for Autumn. And GE, they're opting to just run towards this site, but Verno hears that
Lol.
TP. Oh, Javi sticking that insane, and now all these trips are going to slow down the rest of the execute. Tex punishing Udo, but the trade with that rocket.
Comes to Steel Garden. Desperation stations here for GE as Verno's able to deal with Patman, and it's a 10-2 half for MIBR. Just absolute domination here on Lotus defense.
बहुत crazy जीत रहे भाई.
We haven't talked about enough.
Hello उदय भाई, क्या हाल चाल?
The scoreboard here. for MIBR. He's been playing so well, and I feel like this player has consistently been a rock for this team, a stabilizer. He's always good for his playing that Senti role. His lurks have been insane. He's
कैसे हो उदय भाई आज लेट आए?
As we can see on this map specifically, he's always in the right place on the right time. And now I'm kind of excited to see how he plays on this attack side, seeing how he's going to lurk, how he's going to take those ones, because you can tell none of these players on MIBR are scared to take their ones.
No, definitely not. And nor should they be. A lot of talent stacked up on this roster. And now they've finally gotten the chance to grace the international stage. They are definitely not going to be taking that for granted. This is been a little bit of a demolition, unfortunately at the expense of Global Esports, who have got to try to get something rolling in the second half. Even if they don't win this map of Lotus, they definitely need to at least play for a little bit of momentum coming into their own pick.
If you're GE, what are you talking about in this halftime? What are you trying to do? Other than
me as a coach, because I was a terrible hype man, I would be like, come on guys, we could do this.
If you said that to me and I was 10-2 down, I would be like, it's okay guys, let's just go next.
You could say let's just go next. I might try and just make people laugh.
Yeah?
Like, yeah, it's a rough game, guys.
That's valid. I mean, this is a struggle of a map.
Guys, we're not playing MRVR, we're playing X team that we always dominate in scrims. New half. Let's just pretend, okay?
कल भी ऐसे ही हुआ था. फर्स्ट मैप वन साइड कर रहा, उसके बाद सेकंड मैप में भी कर रहा. पर कल टीम और थी ना. बाहर हूँ. अच्छा बाहर हो क्या? क्या बात है? बाहर रहते हुए भी देख रहे हो? क्या बात है? क्या बात है? मेरे सारे मॉड्स ऐसे ही है क्या? एक बाहर घूम रहा है फिर भी देख रहा है, एक काम करते हुए जॉब पे देख रहा है बंदा. क्रेजी.
But Platoon has definitely got to step up as a little bit of a leader here for Global Esports, and I do imagine that Harvey and Patman will have many words to be saying to the boys. Try to keep them a little bit more focused. Smiles on the face of Autumn. Just one of those games that happens sometimes.
Yep.
But a pistol and a couple of rounds can really, change a man's...
Chalo, last 3 matches, I mean round.
Kind of a must-win for GE if they want to kind of give themselves some sort of rounds to work with and not allowing MIBR to run away with it.
भाई GE ने पहले 2 जीते वही है, उसके बाद तो हो गया उनका.
Taken by GE, that Prowler's going to push them all the way back, and that pressure's going to pull a rotate. Osboss already into the B site, refracting back. Zekin trying to get that pick onto Javi, but it's not going to work out. Javi just being so good at not giving them one. But late now, Zekin gets that pick. The door is tapped. Autumn punishing Osboss for standing out in the open, and now all of a sudden they're pushing towards the spawn here, wrapping towards C.
Yeah, it's a little bit
3v4 situation, almost.
So they need to make sure that they're not putting a toe out of line on an individual basis. Same can be said for GE, though. Just one player on this A side by himself. Crystal has got a lot of work to do, and he's completely surrounded. Sheer wall at least keeping a main in check as he slips into tree. In the meantime, Autumn is clearing out all of attackers' spawn, but with MIBR making their way onto the A site, boots can be heard on the ground here. Crystal around the corner, but the Frenzy has got a lot of work to do. 4 bullets left, and at least is able to
बंदे ले लिए उसने. क्या बात है? 3v2 हो गया. Lol.
3 here. The nades coming out, preventing that spike from being put down. Zekin trying to get aggressive, take that heaven space back, trying to get one. And Verno just waiting. Tapping that spike once again, trying to get it down, and 2 of these players walking up towards this A main. So much noise from Verno, but they know that that heaven is clear because of the space that Zekin's taking. The smoke going down. He's going to try playing into that. And all players are up on this front side. Zekin getting the pick onto Autumn, and now all of a sudden a 2v2. The paranoia
lol.
He's already wrapped towards the back of the site. 2v1, the spike is half. Scary Patman, he has no HP.
Nice.
To win this round, the nades waiting for that tap being thrown. Patman walking away from it. So low. Oh my god.
Patman
going out the haunt. Nothing yet.
Patman tapping the spike. Just gonna stick it, but it's the ace for Zekin. And that
Zekin का ace था, मेरे को नहीं पता था भाई.
For Global Esports, 11-2 here. They desperately
ध्यान नहीं दिया मैंने
pistol
सही से.
here on Lotus in the second half, but it's not going to be coming together. That is just perfection from yet another one of MIBR's stars.
Really good job for MIBR. Looked like they were trying to get towards B. They started pushing towards C. They heard that door open and they were like, never mind, I think they're stacked and wrapped.
Crystal ने यहाँ 2 अच्छे निकाल दिए.
GE, man, like that was winnable. It looked like they were in the right place at the right time. They had the right reads. They collapsed onto that front B, making sure they were punishing it. And now they're stuck with these not the best weapons. Sheriffs trying to get anything to do, and they're using it to start pushing towards that B main.
Desperation force here for GE. And maybe are really simplifying, starting to make their way through tree. Autumn from the hip, doing a little bit of damage here that Harvey will be at least able to follow up on for a moment, but Aspas with a quick reply. Unitime on the off angle. The Stinger is not the gun for the job there. And MLBR at least able to settle for a moment. Flanks coming in for Patman. Aspas being very sneaky, but I think Patman is well aware. Spike's gone down on the A side, and at least
the fast flood coming in now, tapping that spike, trying to get any of these solo peeks. Patman getting the pick onto Tex. Beautiful shot. Inferno trading, instantly getting 2. And now all of a sudden a 1v1, but it's Zekin. He's won that pistol, and he's gonna win this round as well.
Zekin
really
अच्छा निकाला.
By GE here, punishing so many of those angles and being fast on that flank, but it just doesn't work out when MIBR, they're just shooting back.
I mean, that's just traumatic. 2 rounds in a row. Zekin denying Global Esports around on that A site. And yeah, it's not looking like they have long left here on Lotus, unfortunately. A lot of these rounds getting down into scrappy XVXs, even in the first half. But MIBR have come out on top of those time and time again. Another force being put together here for GE. See what they can come up with. It is a glass cannon outlaw, handful of bulldogs. Patman at least has a vandal and some armor. And Harvey deals with that prowler over on the C side of the map. MIBR have taken some space over there.
Lots of C-mount pressure, but they're walking into Harvey. Autumn, getting picked off by Tex. That's actually insane. The peak right there from Tex. This is what I was talking about in terms of lyrics, and now so much information has gone, but they're gonna try to re-clear towards the C. A really nice trap here. The blind, the paranoia going in, but the trades are just so good from MIBR. Oswald's getting that pick. Everyone's just following up with each other, and all of a sudden, 1v4 to win this map.
Yeah, Unitan has got his work cut out for him. Will have to announce his presence by opening up the door. MIBR already set up nicely. Tex sitting in the corner here. Low on HP, doesn't want to overcook this one. Unitan really going looking for someone, and somehow in the player cam, he's playing without one hand on the mouse. Of course, that's Harvey. He's dodged. Verno is playing his time in the door. It was only really a matter of time.
बहुत जल्दी खत्म कर दिया यार. 5 बजे बस.
Yeah, what a way to start out their games. And this is what I was talking about.
20 मिनट पहले चालू हुआ था गेम.
So many of those rounds were won just by sheer peaks, just by taking their ones, making sure they're aggressively playing, taking that map control, because quite frankly, they feel like it. They feel like they're going to win those fights, and they did. Really well played by MIBR. GE, they really tried to climb back into it, but I just was not convinced.
I mean, there was a couple of almost rounds. I think there was a lot of those rounds where things go
वॉशरूम का कहता हूँ और कॉफी लेके आता हूँ मैं भी.
Unfortunately, when one team wins all of the clutches, all of the post plants, they're usually going to win the game, Pocket.
You nailed it. I asked who was going to be the first 8 rounds. Should have asked, would you see more than 3 round wins for Global? Somewhere there is a very frosty smile out there, as there seems to be some issues in terms of where we want to go as a squad. Honestly, is this a problem with a new roster, or is this a problem with just a bad map for them? How has it been in Pacific for them historically?
I mean, you were kind of already having your questions here. Yeah. This is yet another comp change. 4 times in a row the last 3 months they've played Lotus. They've tried to change their comp, and this one didn't really look like it was much better for them, as opposed on the side of MIBR. You leave Lotus in the pool. They looked fantastic on it, and unfortunately that was the end of Global Esports for the first match.
So on the coaching topic, do we credit MIBR for doing the scouting and knowing that your opponent has never won on Lotus?
I feel like for me, when I'm looking at MIBR, they changed from Neon and Raze to Waylay and Raze. So I think they've actually just worked a lot on their comp, worked a lot on their Lotus in general, because they have had success on it, but they just brought out some extra guns to throw GE off, maybe knowing that GE was going to let that Lotus slide. I think a little bit of anti-stratting, but majority of this just looked like a scramble. It didn't look like there was that much thought put into those mid rounds. It just felt like they knew what was happening because they had so much information across the map.
Taking a look back at the biggest plays here, Pilsky, go ahead and walk me through what you witnessed.
I mean, you're seeing a lot of MIBR highlights. There might be a reason for that. I don't really need to spell it out for anyone. I think for GE, though, another comp change on this map doesn't really come together. MIBR probably smelling blood in the water. I think if I was a coach going up against an opponent that had changed their comp on a map, that indicates some degree of weakness. I don't think that necessarily is the case for GE. Yes, of course, Lotus has not been going well for them, but it is just kind of how they play as a team, especially with Frost previously at the head of the coaching staff. He does love to just switch things up map to map to map.
Across our first 6 maps, I feel like we've seen 3 Vice losses. Is this a weak agent or just in bad comps right now? I haven't really had to play as Vice myself personally, so what's going on here, Athena?
I don't think it's a weak agent. I think Vice in general, the wall, it's so much really good passive information that you could kind of trade one-to-one for a Cypher Cam. But I think right now what I'm seeing is just so many people know how to abuse that wall, how to bait it out almost every single time and kind of make it useless. So for me, I think maybe more creativity has to be played around Vice. I don't think that she's weak at all. I really like Vice as a Senti.
As a former Rays mate, I'm happy to see my favorite duelist in action on both sides of the ball. Yesterday, you told me that Jing was going to be a diamond.
Oh, okay.
Back when you had 2 grenades, by the way. But Pilsky, talk to me a little bit about your favorite duelist in this matchup. Is Rays Jet still at the comp to go with across all maps? Who do you expect to be seeing throughout this best of 3 if we get to a game 3? I assume we won't, based on what we've witnessed so far.
Oh, come on. Like, try and give them the map.
They got 2 rounds, bro. I'm just looking at stats.
Hey, it was MIBR's map pick.
And one of them, your Rays got you 4 kills, right? With explosions.
Yeah. Look, I think Rays Jet very strong on this map. The burst potential is very good, especially against the Vice. You just go up and over the top of the wall. You're having a pretty good day at the office. So I think that's why you're seeing a lot of that at the moment. But there are plenty of other duelists that are also quite serviceable as well. It really just depends on your style that you want to go for as a team and what personnel you have on your squad.
We want to thank you all for waking up early to watch your favorite game. It is Valorant here, week 0 of EWC. We're going to a break. When we come back, more from game 2. Great film.
Play is in our DNA. Whenever we let it out, it becomes our superpower. Now imagine an entire city being built to supercharge it. Kadir City, powered by Play.
This ain't no regular thing. Came for the ring, you know what I mean. You see my name in the lights, better get right, champion.
Hello guys, I am back. कॉफी लेके आया हूँ मैं. कॉफी ज्यादा डाल दी.
The human body was built to move, not trapped at a desk in one singular posture for 12 hours a day. It's time your chair evolved. This is Secret Lab Titan Evo. Ergonomically engineered for you, gamers, hybrid workers, artists, backing your every move.
Play is in our DNA. Whenever we let it out, it becomes our superpower. Now imagine an entire city being built to supercharge it. Kadir City, powered by play.
We were there. For every click, every clutch, every respawn. We were there for the years of grind. And we're here. Now. The proud founding partner of EWC. Powering the biggest event in gaming. Shoulder to shoulder with the world's best. Making history. Greatness deserves a stage. Lenovo Legion. Reach your impossible.
यार ये लोग एक तो ऐड बहुत दिखाते हैं, कोई बात करने को भी नहीं है यार आज।
Door goes down. Door goes up. Door goes down. Door goes up. Door goes down.
ये क्या चल रहा है?
Oh shit.
Uh-oh, we're back live from Paris. Welcome in. It is day 2 of the group stages here for Valorant. We're jumping into Group C and D, and in our opening fight, Mibr was able to strike first. Now it's time to find out, can Global Esports answer back? We welcome in our casters. We got Athena alongside Pilsky, and Pilsky, this is your team from the Pacific in Global Esports. You mentioned that they're having a bit of a roster change. It's not just the players on the stage, it is the coaches behind the scenes. They looked out-coached, out-planned, and blown out of the water in Map 1, but now this is your map selection, right?
It is, yeah.
So where are we going?
Specific.
What's the move for Global here?
Play the game better. Don't get to
Play the game better.
Shoot back, need a good plan. Because MIBR is looking like the way better team, and I think it was kind of similar what we saw yesterday for RRQ as well. Like, honestly, these Pacific teams are kind of struggling a little bit when they come onto the international stage and not showing the same level of strength that they have done domestically. So this is where, I mean, when you get 13-2, a good coach is worth its weight in gold. Let's see what Platoon has got here.
Not only did we not see the execution on that map, you guys also highlighted your concerns around the composition, the roster building based on the agents. Athena, what do you want to see cleaned up as they're going into their map pick now?
Oh, I just need to see a lot of this pathing, a lot of the tradings being cleaned up for GE, because it's just so hard to watch when they have the right reads. Sometimes they're up numbers and they just lose it because of small things like not clearing corners. When they're taking that space, they're just not trading, not tradable positions. The pathing is weird. They're going the long way around. It just doesn't work out for me.
Let's talk about stars in this show, because after week 1, the bottom half of the competition is gone. The top half moves on into our playoff bracket. Who is the star on this stage who's caught your eye through one game? Just one player. Just one player.
In this game?
This game.
Wait, you want to say it together?
Oh, Tex.
Oh.
Sorry.
I was going to say Tex too. No, Tex played phenomenal.
Yeah, I think Tex, like, he didn't even necessarily do anything that impressive, but he just played his role perfectly. He switched up his Cypher utility. He never gave away his life needlessly. He was always in great positions. And I think, you know, he would just kind of wait in the wings. And then whenever Esports would go and actually kick off this side execute, he'd just get a 2K, the round would be over, and all of a sudden, you don't remember many of them, but he ended up topping the board and getting the most kills.
How much of that is due to him being American and America really succeeding right now?
Yeah, everything. I mean, it makes all the difference. I think he had the German flag or something on VLR at some point.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's German, so that's awkward.
How are you German rocking the name Tex? Striking out on that one, my bad. So Tex is popping off. I thought second was the German, right? No? German-Americans?
No, not close. But anyway, I agree. I think Tex has been phenomenal, and for me as well, I think he's been really good at being active as well. It's just one of those things that you missed on your giant list of reasons why Tex is insane and why he played so good. He was so active, too, at getting a lot of the map control around.
I had a fan blowing, made me look extra wide, so we're going to tighten up and get ready for this second game of the day. MIBR is on match point. If they win this map, they are done for 2 days as they wait for the next round of competition. Athena, what do you got going?
I will say this, okay? Last map was MIBR's pick, the Lotus. They've had historically a really good run. I think it's a little bit weird that GE let this go through, but it's fine because now we're moving on to Haven, which historically hasn't been MIBR's best map. They've played this around 6 times and they've lost it 4 of those times. Only 2 wins, and even recently.
Hello Firebird, क्या हाल चाल?
The closest time that they played it.
बहुत late हो गया यार.
Their comp from the last time that they played this. They had the Phoenix and the Jet last
बहुत
time.
late आए हो आप.
As well as the Chamber.
एक मैच जीत भी गया है MIBR, पता है?
Waylay has a 0% win rate. Go ahead, dive in for me.
They can't play worse than last time, honestly. I'm looking at that Envy game personally. They definitely have got to do better.
We don't talk about that one.
No?
No, we don't talk about the MIBR loss.
You can't get 13-1 by streamers.
No.
Like, that's illegal.
Oh. Anyway, what about
one of them might be live right now.
What about the agent select, guys?
The agent select. That's a. Honestly, I was so hyper focused on my point that I wasn't looking at what GE was playing. But we're gonna answer that question now. They are playing the Cypher Deadlock. This has been a comp that they've been playing for quite a while. They're 2 wins in a row on it. Over the top of Nongshim in the EWC qualifiers, doing quite well for themselves. That was a bit of a weird game. I remember casting that one. But they also beat Shilai over at London, which is not too bad of a run from them, because I remember watching Happyway run around like a demon on this map. So beating him must be doing something right. Crystal spamming away inside a lobby. And goes the drone towards Garage. She here pushed all the way down C long here, though.
So much information. Zakin coming up with that Waylay. Gonna put some pressure down, but the actual end plan is towards this A site. Verno getting a really nice dink, but Crystal gets the trade onto Tex. Instantly, so many trades coming in. Verno ending up being the hero in that, getting those
Verno ने क्या crazy मार दिया दोनों.
He's on this A site. On this A link,
3v2.
Autumn flanking really quickly might be the reason why they win out this round. In spawn is Aspas trying to hold a crossfire, gets the pick onto Patman, and all of a sudden Autumn in this 1v3. But I think they know something's up because they have that full spawn side.
Yeah, it's a little bit disjointed, unfortunately, for GE.
क्या लगता है 1v3 होगा गाइस? अच्छा हूँ और आप मैं तो बढ़िया ही रहता हूँ यार.
Now IBR are giving him nothing. Spike ticking a little bit faster and out onto the line. Under the one-way is Mazzino, and MIBR just keep the good times rolling instantly off the back of a 13-2. They immediately win the follow-up pistol to start off Haven.
MIBR
खतरनाक खेल गया. Trying to get some sort of information, pushing all the way down C-Long, but this fight right here, it was so scrappy. You can see how quick everyone was there to react, but it's just the right-click classic from Verno that manages to get 2 kills onto that.
That's a free gun, by the way. I remember back when, in the early days of Valorant, I would just full armor classic anti-eco on Jet and then just buy the op straight away, because why not? It was even more busted back then than it is now. MIBR quite happy with how that went for them. Nice little easy 2k for Verno as they kick off this anti-eco into the seat site. Dealt with. Autumn sitting on the back lines. Position confirmed by Aspas, but that's not too bad from Udatan. Dumping down that relay bolt, cutting up this push for MIBR, and they cannot get the clean execution they were looking for through the cage. Out comes the dart as well as a grab net, giving MIBR serious pause for thought here. They haven't
ये निकल सकता है जी का.
Drone going forward, looking for Autumn, and they have confirmed that he's sitting in the corner. Down goes the deadlock wall. That's going to slow this down a little bit more. Aspas going forward. Straight from the hip with the Marshall.
No, what?
And now MIBR are looking a little bit more comfortable.
2v3 here coming out through Garage, but it's instantly going to get spammed down by Verno.
Hey.
Really decisive at the end there, but that was a little bit scary at the beginning for MIBR. I mean, Zakin getting into that site, not shooting the player that is not looking at him and instantly refracting back. A little bit scary for them. But I think for MIBR, obviously, they're still going to be happy with the outcome of this round. They're going to be on that bonus for the third round. These fights were so chaotic. I think GE, they're really trying to be active, really trying to make sure that they're pushing and trading as quick as possible. The fast floods are there. But it's going to be interesting how they play out this round. Gun round for the side of GE.
Harvey having a look to see what his Sova Dart can fashion for him. He does get scanned by MRBR, so rotation comes back across from GE, who have spread out that Sentinel utility around the map. It's something that they love to do. You'll see a lot more of that. A bit of a Sentinel duel over on Garage side. Drone goes looking for some information, but it's immediate paranoia dive into the site there from Zekken. Aspas finding one before the refract comes through. Zekken will hit the deck, and MIBR very much slowing this one down. Tex caught, pulling the pin out from Crystal's scrap net there. Drone confirming where Yutatan is standing. This is so tentative for MIBR, not knowing when to make their move, but that's where Aspas and Verno just completely demolish everyone on the site, and Crystal, a little late to the party, has a big 1v3.
Those are the types of things that I worry about for GE. The 4K for Aspas to close out the round. But every single time, it feels like they're in somewhat of a good position, getting that pick onto Tex on the extremity. They still struggle when it gets back into sight, when they're trying to get those trades, when they're trying to pop into the site. They constantly take these ones or put themselves in these positions where they're so isolated, and they cannot trade. But of course, when you're playing against Aspas, when you're playing against Zekken, you just have to be so much quicker and so much more understanding with these things, because they are playing at a pace that really throws you off.
Aspas और वर्णों का खेल अभी तो 7-6 है भाई.
Taking their time.
ये लो.
Crack on into the sides. You can't rush yourself. There's so many sensors, so many trips to deal with. That's very cheeky, using the dark cover to hide from the recon. Yutatan on the walk down middle, but the Sheriffs are not really connecting either ones of these vicinities. RBR now pivoting back towards A, and that's where Harvey had the info line for a moment, but punished now by Aspas.
Not looking too good. 3-0. MIBR winning that bonus round just with the sheer force of them going quick and punish onto Javi. 3 of these players from GE, though, they understand.
एक का नाम मार्शल है और
एक
आउटलॉ है.
a good gamble, but it's just the fact that they need to be in these trade
बोल्ट एक्शन है, उसका नाम है ऑप.
Because the flank is also on the way. Udo getting that first pick onto Aspas. The paranoia coming in, but in a weird spot, making Udo get 2. Verno trying to get that trade and does end up getting it. And now all of a sudden, 3v3 here. Patman getting dropped by Tex. Crystal with a beautiful shot onto Tex. Trying to pick up that weapon. Does get the Phantom.
Off angle for Crystal, dealt with by Verno. The flank coming in from Autumn. He's actually got a decent timing to be attempting this clutch. Uncovered on the side, but a little bit too late.
The plant कर रहा था भाई वो.
Off of that spike plant. Cannot be calibrated on. Always a little bit annoying with some of the animations. Can't quite get the headshot where it's needed, and that's completely punished there by MIBR, despite some heroics on the shots from Global.
We talked about star players on MIBR, and it feels like every single player has their standout moments so far in this series, constantly going for 3. And it's just crazy how easy it seems sometimes for winning out these frags. GE, that was a close round. It was a little bit expensive for them, but an op on Aspas.
I mean, 100% it was a close round, but like how many close rounds did you have on Lotus?
True.
Really struggled to win any of them. Quicker C execute, Hunter's Fury to back it off, giving a lot of problems for Yutatan. The Sova Dart scanning multiple players.
Wow.
And it's a complete decimation of the C site. MIBR changing up the pace after a lot of slower rounds, really waiting out GE and waiting for mistakes. This time it's pedal to the metal straight into C, and it works a treat.
No pop execute. Instead, they just full execute.
Crystal save कर रहा है भाई.
It was really beautiful. Not a single spot on site.
गंदा मारा है MIBR ने GE को.
Of the movement
बड़ा गंदा, बहुत गंदा, बहुत भाई, बहुत.
So quick, the util usage, the paranoia, the dart, everything just lined up beautifully. And GE, man, they did not stand a chance. Look at those X's, 4 on that C site, 3 of them towards spawn.
I'll tell you one thing, though. There is no way you're getting into tower here. Double sensors. Surely that doesn't work out for MIBR. Dealing with both of them in just an instant. That is just perfection. Even both of the sensors were both
सेव कर था बंदे को सेव भी नहीं करने दिया.
To follow up, they really just have not put a toe out of line since this series kicked off.
You really thought that he could hold that.
Give me a little bit of cope. Can I at least save a Vandal in tower for the next round? Anything.
Anything indeed. Well, they do have 2 ults online. The Deadlock ult, they have the Neon ult. They could go for something fast.
Can we at least kill Verno? Like 10-0
is insane.
That's kind of too much.
That's my IGL right there.
Yeah, okay.
भाई अगर सच में ये लोग बोल रहे जैसे कि 10-0 हुआ तो क्या ही क्रेजी. 5 तो ऑलरेडी हो चुके हैं भाई. बैटमैन लो हो चुका है. नोड़तान भाई.
Global Esports now 2-on-4 in this retake, trying to come in from A-Link, dodging that drone, dodging the paranoia, but all of that is just buying more time for the spike. Aspas to slide onto the
ओह बच गया.
decent trade back from
मुझे लगा दूसरी गोली में ये भी मरेगा.
But with the one-way coming
Outlaw से.
a perfect little triangle crossfire. It's not even needed. Verno's just out in the open to get it done.
6 तो हो जाएगा. अभी 4 जीतने इन लोग. अगर 10-0 पॉइंट्स हो गए ना, मतलब 10-0 राउंड.
I'm really
जी भाई
questioning
क्या
the
ही
choices
बोलूं
from
मैं.
GE here on this round, using 2 ults
10-0
to
हुआ
try
ना
to turn it around
स्कोर.
with Sobol and the Neon ult, but it's just not
बहुत
working
crazy
out
हो
after
जाएगा.
that Neon has dropped, getting scanned for so long by the dart. Mizzino full stun, still manages to get the pick on Neon. It's just not looking too hot. Javi, knowing that and still using his ult, it's a little bit scary because now you're kind of losing some sort of trap play potential that you have here. But the double Senti comp on defense, they really need to win some of these rounds because it's so much harder on that attack side with this kind of comp. And now all these players towards that A lobby, the gun is going to get spotted.
Nice.
That operator finally coming online for GE, and they're falling back into sight.
Drone confirms that there's more players here for MIBR, and a warning shot there.
Okay, आसपास लो है.
Flips the leg. Finding some early success here with this operator.
गाइस जो भी देख रहा है लाइक मारो, सब्सक्राइब करो. 250 सब्स के बहुत करीब है हम.
Grouped up back towards mid here for MIBR. They're aware of the op. The drone still online for Verno though. Walking towards that C garage, gonna spot the Cypher setup. They're gonna know this is the weakest site. Trying to go for a C-split here. Mizzino just being annoying, putting pressure towards that B, finding out where that operator is. And now, just chilling outside of B with that spike.
Shot from Udatan. Lapse of focus for just a moment. MIBR waiting for a mistake, which they're not going to receive. There goes the paranoia and the dash on in for Aspas, who is traded out by Putman. Once again, the plant being attempted here by Mizzino. Out comes the annihilation. Very much looking for a pick here. I'm not sure if it even connected. Verno just continues to come up with the goods until Putman is able to come in towards that B site. Down to 2-on-2 now. Flank coming out for Autumn, who was waiting a long time over on C-Long. Finally finds his man. Zekken last alive inside of that site.
Finally भाई. Finally global esports जीता है भाई. Finally.
See how many more they can start to put together here, because this has not been the start that they were looking for.
Back on the board, and the main reason is it's on the back of that operator for Udo, trying to get one of those picks, trying to go aggressive.
Guys, मैं poll डाल रहा हूँ.
Punish them for
कौन जीतेगा?
That slow style that they've been playing for majority of the game. The walk up, the pop executes, just going off of info. I think this was all really nice from MIBR, trying to punish that operator, and Mizzino TPing out in time, but the retake was just too good. This is one of those times where you see them going in together on the side of GE, and you're like, finally, this makes sense. The trades are there. The frags are finally there. And all of a sudden,
मैंने मेरा वोट कर दिया है. आप लोग कर सकते हो अब.
With that drone, but the Waylay ult is out. That dart is coming down. Javi actually gets a spam kill onto Aspas through the neon wall. Zekken trade onto Crystal, and all of a sudden, Mizzino, he's TP'd into heaven. They're trying to get this A crunch down, but there's 3 players on site.
Second, up inside of the dark cover. Harvey's finally been able to deal with the Fox among the
2v3,
but Tex and Verno just wiping that site. Unfortunately, another round that kind of slips.
और वो बहुत दूर है.
Autumn now tasked with yet another
आ गया.
Playing over towards that C site time and time again. At least has the neural theft to work with, but I'm not sure he has anyone to really use it on. Both of the players are inside of A Long and Heaven respectively, so that's not really going to give him any information necessarily. Upshot missed there by Tex. That's enough to convince Autumn to try to attempt this retaker, just hold on to his Vandal and armor. An immediate reply here for MIBR is going to put significant pressure on GE's economy now.
MIBR just making so much pressure on so many different angles for GE that it's getting hard for them to hold it down. Obviously, the huge usage from Vern as well, absolutely phenomenal. Using that dart when they know that they're about to fight that A main, that A long.
भाई जी नहीं जीत रही, जिसने भी वोट किया है MIBR ही जीतेगी. इससे पहले MIBR एक बार और जीत चुकी है, ये भी जीत गई तो ये क्वालिफायर नहीं खेलेंगे, जीत जाएगी MIBR.
Fighting that A long, fighting the A lobby, punishing anyone.
और अभी 5:40 ही हुए हैं.
To back off, they heard the Mizzino up, they held Heaven. It just everything just didn't. It just fell apart at the end.
That's every round in this series for GE.
Yeah, it keeps happening.
अपनी स्ट्रीम आज छोटी होने वाली है क्योंकि MIBR बहुत क्रेजी खेल रही है, बहुत क्रेजी.
Yeah, I think that's the firepower though for me.
वैसे कुछ फर्क नहीं पड़ता, दोनों मैं तो दोनों को सपोर्ट कर रहा हूँ. जी जीते तो भी मेरे को फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा, MIBR जीते तो भी मेरे को फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा. पर MIBR बहुत क्रेजी खेली है आज, तो बनता है यार उनका जीतना.
Mizzino having some really good impact frags too, especially when he's on that B site. Usually being the player with the spike, able to just get on and get off. Able to use the paranoia at the right times. I really like to see how deep the playbook is too. Feels like for every little small situation, they have some sort of answer, some sort of protocol.
Hi, Varno देखो, Varno ने कितने crazy, Varno और आसपास दोनों.
Trying really hard to get
crazy frags
really
निकालने
fast
लगे.
double dive duelist to put in the work. But now GE going for this mid fight, and MIBR has read right into it. They're holding this mid, knowing that they're on this thrifty, only 2 weapons across the board. One of them saved, and it's a fast beat.
Yeah, double dash straight into the site, and that's about as easy as it gets there. Mazzino is all over those players, whether he can see them or not. Plant going down in the safe position for MIBR here. And Verno,
3 बंदे मर गए जी के, पता भी नहीं चला. मैंने जी को वोट किया, वोट दिया है, देखते हैं क्या होता है. भाई जैसे जी हार रही है, एक के बाद एक बंदे मर रहे हैं. वैसे तो मेरे को तो MIBR ही लग रहा है. नो चांस ऑफ कम बैक. ये देखा, 8 हो गए MIBR के. कमबैक का कोई चांस ही नहीं है इन लोग का. बहुत गंदा खेल रही है जी.
The crosshair placements absolutely there. The mechanics are just so good. Granted, it was a little bit of a weird buy round, a low buy, just trying to get something to support around that rifle that they saved that last round, but it's just not looking good.
Yeah.
Gun round here.
I mean, this will be a bit of cathartic one. I remember sitting in a cafe in Seoul and watching MIBR play NRG at the end of kickoff on this map. This is more the scoreline that they probably would have had in mind back then. So this might be a little bit of trauma redemption, I guess you could say, for MIBR. Quick split into C. Bottom going to get tested. Not something that has been happening too much so far this game. Refract back, and actually the flood in is starting to go the way of Mizzino. Dealt with trying to dive through the cage as well. Verno from downtown though, and Tex on the back lines is starting to
2v2 situation.
Out comes the neural theft. Udatan under pressure.
इनके पास लोकेशन है यहाँ पर. जी के पास. MIBR पे का. MIBR पे लोकेशन है.
Spike is down on the site, trying to get that from Platt. Scary fight for Tex to take because he does end up losing it. Verno making so much noise going towards that garage. They know now where he's positioned, and the spike is still down. This is almost unwinnable.
अच्छा निकाला, अच्छा निकाला, अच्छा निकाला. जी ने अच्छा निकाला.
Now that was a really good round from GE. The super fast flood into the Cypher Utah.
फिर भी नहीं मार पाई
staying
MIBR.
alive for so long, playing together, making sure that they're in those crossfires when they are coming out of that spawn smoke. Just punishing that fast dash in.
I mean, that's what GE are good at on this map, honestly. That's a little bit more like it. The problem is I'm a little bit worried they've dug themselves quite a big hole on this defense. At a minimum, need 4 rounds out of this half, so
especially with their comp.
8-2 है भाई score.
It gets a lot harder once you move over onto that attacking side, that's for sure. We'll see if they can try to fashion
भाई
themselves
जी
a little bit more magic.
लोटस में भी 2 ही मैच जीती थी bro.
Once again, tucking himself in nicely towards that C site. Has a little bit of help from the rotation of Udo-chan. Crystal pulls out the grab net. Birdo on the other side of things. Does go at least one on C, and we get fights on both sides of things. MIBR just taking space where it's given.
3 बंदे मर गए पता चला तुम लोग को.
At least 3 picks here. Really, the world is their oyster from here on out.
It's actually crazy how quick that was too.
Whatever अभी
Four
बचे
players
बस.
just grouping up here towards that A long. I say that, but Javi gets the pick
3v2.
onto Xena. They know that he's sitting here, speeding up towards this B site. Autumn is rotating in, is gone out. Doesn't get a pick. Gets so much damage down that Sova not gonna catch anymore.
2v1.
Autumn getting one.
पर ये दोनों
but not
की
before he
health
gets
बहुत
dropped
low
by
है.
Zekin and Javi in this 1v2. But both players are lit.
Yeah, time for a vintage Harvey clutch. If ever you needed one, GE desperately need rounds on this defensive side. Nice open plant for Verno. Meets up with Zekin over towards the bottom side of C long there. The shocks coming out. The MIBR lads will be very well aware of where Harvey is coming from over here on spawn side. Hasn't tapped the spike yet. Drone to work with, but not really the kind of clear path for that to be used at this point. Out comes the shock. Clears out the close corner, but neither of MIBR are playing there. Drone in response for Verno to confirm that unfortunately Harvey is not on the spike yet, and time is really starting to tick at this point. Trying to get the half. Trying to bait out the peak from MIBR, but they are being very patient with this one. Recon dart to follow up.
Oh, crazy.
Unfortunately, I think if the half doesn't come out, it's going to be done. And Zekin
MIBR जीत गई.
close it for MIBR. A really nicely played 2-on-1 there.
The
Shot था by the
scoreline
way.
is looking awfully familiar. 9-2. One more
Havi ने shot तो
left
मारा था Havi ने.
in this map. This is so
Ooh.
scary for GE. I mean, the double senti, it's not working out for them. They're not able to hold on to these sites. They're getting picked off so easily by MIBR. They're finding these really good timings. They're really good aggressive peaks here. And of course, they're taking their ones because of the confidence they have, especially with the momentum from that last game. And now looking like a fast C split here. Sorry, C execute here on the side of MIBR.
Again, it's Autumn and Udotan up over the top. His ass pass, well aware that the Neon is sitting inside of the cage. Mazino's made it into the site.
Udotan बहुत low है.
Trying to clear out this
ये low मर गया.
great patience for MIBR. Patman trying to make a heroic play straight through the dark cover. Out comes the annihilation, immediately sniped out by Arspass.
नहीं हो
It's just
सकता.
Harvey inside of Garage. He's got a lot to fix up here. It's a 1-on-5, but I don't even think that this man is going to be good for it, quite honestly.
अभी शायद एक बंदा मार लेगा. वो भी नहीं हुआ भाई.
3k TP into the back of the site. It's another 10-2, double digits in the opening half. And
क्या मतलब मैंने jinx कर दिया.
Continuing to get sadder here for the Pacific, myself included.
19-3 for Verno. He's only died 3 times.
When you said 19-3, I thought you were referring to the overall round tally so far in this series. It's close to that. It's close.
It feels like it.
That's what I thought you were saying. It's so painful. It's actually so painful.
Oh man, this is you guys are
भाई MIBR बहुत crazy खेला आज.
But with the form that they're in right now, I think yes, GE they're struggling.
Firebird हंस क्या रहे हो यार. तुम्हारी टीम हार रही है. जी हार रही है भाई. मतलब तुम्हारी वैसे नहीं बोल रहा हूँ.
And the calls too have been really good. I'm really surprised by their strat book, by the playbook, how deep it is, and the way that MIBR is still avoiding and calling. Clearly, they have a lot more things that they want to call, but they're avoiding using it because why would you when just executes are working out right now?
3 मैच और MIBR के लिए बहुत easy है.
Is really doing wonders here for MIBR. They're able to avoid a lot of the sonic sensors, a lot of the trips in the setup by just good.
भाई लोग हार के भी हंस रहे हैं. अगर मैं होता वहाँ कैसा मेरे रोले जैसी हालत हो जाती.
Actually, a similar kind of outcome when we saw KRX take on this GE squad earlier on in Pacific. They were able to use Jet really well to just avoid all of the double senti util, and I think you see MIBR do the exact same thing here to GE, unfortunately.
This is wild. I knew they were going to win, but I didn't think it was going to be this dominant.
I'm just happy you're in a good mood. That's it. You know, that's the one good thing that we get out of this. Okay. And all the Americas fans.
Listen, this is the time for you to convert a little bit. You know, like jump on the MIBR train with me.
Need a green card.
Oh, this is rough. I think for GE, like let's just
चलो
say there's a little bit
MIBR
of
को
coaching.
किसी और ने
That's
वोट
tiny
किया है
bit.
हेलो गोकुस लेके क्या हालचाल बेशर्म लोग हैं वैलो नहीं खेलता अरे वैलो नहीं खेल रहा हूँ ना अभी वॉच पार्टी चल रही है कैसे खेलूंगा कल तो 12:30 बजे तक वैलो आई मीन वॉच पार्टी किया था मैंने आज नहीं करूंगा आज ये MIBR का मैच देख के बंद कर रहा हूँ तो आज खेल सकते हैं वे लोग
With Zek and Tex, here's all this information. Zek going for his with that Sheriff, not connecting. Alice manages to get one. Zek gets another, but two trades coming in. Autumn and Udo. Zek gets a second kill onto Udo, and 3v2. His team is coming in. They're trying to flood out onto site together. That shock might do enough damage. They're so picking off onto Autumn and Javi in this 1v2 is not gonna win it out. Mazzino with that final kill. And Verno, man, these shocks. He's gotten like 3 this game already.
Yeah, he's good. We know.
गोकुस लेके से बहुत बेशर्म लोग हैं
So he's like what, 20-3 now?
20-3.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. Pretty good on the Sova. Not gonna lie. Rest of MIBR giving him a lot of help as well. I think both the Jet and the Waylay getting a lot of value fighting from backside with the Sheriffs here. I think GE, you could see right from where they kind of get halted up in Garage for a moment. They are very kind of, I wouldn't say afraid, but just taking a lot of time to get into that C site, unfortunately. And that's where the Sheriffs are having a lot of fun, picking them as they head on their way in. Speaking of picking GE as they head in, this time less success for Aspas. Forced away for the time being. It very much seems like GE want to pick up the pace, but Mazzino's spamming away on his Spectre. Takes a lot of damage off the hero TP up the top. Should get checked here by Unitard, but he's got just not enough HP, unfortunately. And that is a double once again from the Omen. Mazzino just continues to conjure magic for MIBR, and Autumn, who's kind of waiting in the back of the site. All he could do was trade out the Omen before Bono cleans him up. 12 I think this might be back-to-back 13-2s.
The fact that Mazzino's just allowed to TP back into site, get those picks, no trade on board.
They tried to trade him, but Unitard had like 10 HP because they took about 300 damage getting into B. Unfortunately. So that's how it be. That's how it be, yeah.
That's how it be. This was kind of nasty. We were talking about Mazzino just being so good, especially with his impact frags. But this round, you can tell he's just kind of styling on them. And now, 12-2. Like you said, we might see that same scoreline.
Fract active for second. Creeping up on the line. Easy opener onto Yuditan. And the going continues to get rougher for GE. Drone will confirm that Crystal is in this neck of the woods, so MIBR not even really feeling pressured enough to rotate. Still just kind of sitting in a 2-1-2 here, because you can definitely trust Second and Verno to probably get the rest of this round done themselves, or very there nearabouts.
Grouped up. A-long. Crystal alone towards short. The smoke's going to come in. The actual pick is going to come in from Javi as well. That Guardian. Beautiful shot. Verno now left alone towards this short. He is going to get slowly crunched. Autumn, Crystal trying to work it up together. They get that pick, and now all of a sudden it's flipped. 3v4. They've gained that numbers advantage. Getting that spike down as well. Holding into this post plant. They just need to be careful here, because these are the kinds of rounds that
अगर ये लोग ने 3v4 निकला सोचो
Yeah, it's going to be hard though against double set.
Crazy हो जाएगा.
Double pick. Great spacing and entries in from GE. I give MIBR a lot of trouble getting back in. The barrier as well as the sonic sensor. You've got the follow-up grab net, even if they are able to make it a little bit deeper into the site. Hits all three players for MIBR. And Autumn capitalizing. Crystal to follow up. And Aspas finally pulls the grab net out. But I think he's better off just saving this Vandal at this point.
Really well played here by GE. They saw the opportunity and they took it. Verno being left alone, knowing he couldn't do anything.
मुझे लगा यहाँ मैच खत्म है
पर बच गए. It's good to see that they're keeping a lot of those protocols. They're not going, overextending, playing too needy. Like, they need to get those picks, still taking their time and making sure they're doing it with reason. GE now It's so hard when you're in this position because you have to snowball. You have to snowball the economy. You have to snowball these ults. It's going to be so much harder too with this double Senti comp. Crystal and Autumn, Cypher and Deadlock. It's almost impossible. The good thing is they can get so much information with those trips, with holding it all the way back. It's going to be a little bit of a rough one because MIBR is actually going to face them for an A-lobby fight.
Go, go, go.
Vuitton having a little bit of a think about taking that, but the utility quickly pushing GE back away. They'll allow MIBR to have control of lobby, and they're going to start to speed up into C now. This is where Tex, fantastic on the opening map on the Cypher. Quite happy to play retake in from spawn side. There's a juicy little kill trip there, but that's dealt with by Harvey Shock Dart.
These players taking site with a vengeance. That wall is going to go down. Really annoying to deal with, like you mentioned earlier. And this post plant, they're trying to keep this site. They have the trip on the flank. They don't need to worry about it unless there's an omen. And now MIBR in this 5v5 retake. It's really hard, especially when these players have so much site control. But Autumn playing towards that back side. The TP comes in. Patman getting one, but Mazzino, Verno, and Ospas are so good at clearing.
Chalo guys, GG's.
And no win for him.
GG's.
The final pick of the game and a 12-3 scoreline here for MIBR.
That is just back-to-back stomps here.
MIBR जीत चुकी है.
2026 with a vengeance. You can
खत्म.
see exactly why they were able to run over the Americas qualifier.
Firebird आप हार चुके हो. आपकी टीम हार चुकी है.
Another flat performance from a team.
मैं तो दोनों को ही सपोर्ट कर रहा था, तो मेरे को फर्क नहीं पड़ता. पर MIBR भाई अच्छा खेली, इसलिए जितना बनता ही था इसका इन लोग का. क्रेजी खेले ये लोग, बहुत क्रेजी. पर कल के जो मैचेस थे ना, वो BBL और EDG के, वो बहुत क्रेजी था भाई. उसमें जो बंदे ने डिफ किया है, माँ कसम, कल के मैचेस बहुत खतरनाक. ये तो बहुत इजीली निकाल दिया इन लोग ने. MIBR ने बहुत इजीली निकाल दिया ये तो. आए खेल के चले गए, पता भी नहीं चला. 2 घंटे हुए बस. 2 भी घंटे हुए एक्चुअली नहीं हुए हैं. 1.5 घंटा हुआ है. मैंने चालू कुछ 4:23 पे क्या था.
Is it a coaching difference, a team difference? Bilski, there's a lot that goes into Valorant.
1.5 घंटे हुए, 1.5 घंटा.
Really trying to follow everything. How would you break it down in the simplest form?
This is like your rank.
चलो गाइस, स्ट्रीम यहीं पे बंद करते हैं. नेक्स्ट मैच हम लोग देखने वाले हैं नहीं, क्योंकि मुझे जिम जाना है. गोकुस लेगेसी बोला था वेलो नहीं खेलता, पर यार वेलो में आज आ जाता, पर अभी जिम जाना है यार, मैं भूल गया था. तो यार नहीं आ पाऊंगा वेलो अब 12 तारीख के बाद, क्योंकि 12 तारीख तक तो कंटिन्यूअस वेलो की वॉच पार्टी रहेगी. 12 को लास्ट डे है. तब तक मिलते हैं आपको नेक्स्ट वीडियो. तो नहीं बोलूंगा, स्ट्रीम में ही बोलूंगा. वीडियो एडिट करने का अभी टाइम नहीं है. शूट कर लिया मैंने एक वीडियो ऐसे. चलो गाइस, बाय बाय.